Welcome to another episode of Ruff Talk VR, a weekly podcast with in-depth game reviews, exclusive developer interviews, and the latest MetaQuest and virtual reality news. We join our hosts, the father-son team of D. Scruffles and Stratus today, as they spend another episode breaking down and discussing the world of virtual reality.
Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. We're joined on a Monday for some news. It's the first one in a couple weeks.
We still do that?
I know, we went on
I forgot all about it.
We went on an interview rampage the last couple weeks. It was like 7 interviews in like 7 days. It was wild the last couple weeks.
Taking time off from work and shit.
Yeah, we talked with Fast Travel, with Les Stroud. We had a nurse interview. We had an esports interview. We had so much the last Pavlov. We had Breachers. No. Yeah, it was wild. But there's been a lot the last couple weeks, though.
Sorry. I'm happy we got the Breachers one.
Yeah, that was a real
long
good
time
one.
coming.
To be honest with you, all of them were really good. Battle Bows, that was another great one. So if you haven't got them all, you have a lot to catch up with the last couple weeks. Like we've been hustling, but so has the VR industry.
Everybody hustle.
Yeah, there's been a lot of news while we took a little break from the news.
Let the news build up.
And there's been a couple great releases. And one of the cool pieces of news that just came out the other day, and I love to see this because it's developer success. Owlchemy Labs, one of the top VR studios, they had one game previously, Job Simulator, go platinum in VR.
Human.
What was your favorite bot in Job Sim? Mine was the Bandit bot, without a freaking doubt.
I think I might have to piggyback on that.
Or the Chef bot.
Yeah, no.
The Chef bot was pretty cool too. But man, Owlchemy Labs is so freaking good. And Job Sim went platinum a while back, which platinum means it sold 1 million units.
1 million.
And this past week it just came out that Vacation Simulator also went platinum, which is their most recent game.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm honestly not shocked.
No.
Happy for him though, as a studio. That's got to feel good. You do it twice. Do it once has to feel amazing, but to then pull it, that's like having 2 top 10 singles.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough act to follow. So I mean, but they put out good product, and I think once you play one, you kind of have to play the others. So.
Well, Owlchemy Labs, man, they're so big on interactability, and they have a new game in the works that they haven't said much about.
Great sense of humor too.
I'm excited to see what comes next of Owlchemy, but have 2 platinum games, that's huge. And their co-founder, who recently left the studio, I think earlier this year, if not last year, he just announced this past week too that he has a new studio in the works that's going to be focusing on VR multiplayer games called Astro Beam. So stay tuned for that too.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was shocking when he left.
Well, usually when people leave a studio that they founded that has huge success like Owlchemy Labs, that's because they have other ideas that they want to put out.
And let's be honest, it's like the whole genre that they're doing, all the characters, the comedy, the graphics that seemingly get better and better too. They could kind of stay with that same theme in the future if they wanted to. So
yeah, whether that's the same universes that they've already created with Vacation Sim and Job Sim, or like Owlchemy Labs. Oh my God, I said Vacation Sim was their most recent game. That's not true. I'm sorry for that. Cosmonious High is their most recent game. I just had to kind of I
was going to tell you
fumble.
off air, to be honest.
No, it's okay. Sometimes we fumble. It happens. We're human. But nonetheless, yeah. No, Cosmonious High is their most recent game, which is inevitably, in my opinion, also going to go platinum.
Dude, that's the biggest.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the most interactability I've ever seen.
With the first one, it wasn't really like, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel when I started playing it.
Correct.
And then kind of with the second one, after like a couple hours, you're like, okay. But then when we played Cosmonious, and I think it was Amelia who really
pushed it,
talked the hell out of it. And yeah, it's no joke. It's like you're not going to see the light at the end of the tunnel anytime soon when you play that. And there's so many freaking characters to talk to.
So check that. Of their 3 major VR games on the Quest, you have Job Sim, Vacation Sim, and Cosmonious, and now their first 2 have gone platinum. Like I said, it's inevitable that their third one is going to as well.
Everything you make sells 1 million units.
That's huge.
Freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see what comes next from Owlchemy Labs. I'm also excited to see what comes out of Astro Beam, that new studio.
That one has me very intrigued.
We know the way game development goes, it's probably going to be a year and a half, 2 years before we see or hear anything from them. But who knows? Maybe they've already been chipping away.
Well, yeah, and I'm wondering how long, maybe stuff was being worked on before he even left.
Correct.
Or just had a shadow company.
It was just announced, but maybe it's been around for a year. Who knows?
Possible.
Who knows?
I'd like to think that it's been being worked on for a year. So within half a year, we'll get a taste.
I'd love to get them on for sure. That'd be a fun interview just to hear what they got in the works when it's ready.
Yeah.
But also in these couple weeks of absence from the news, there's been a couple really good releases. I mean, November is a crazy month. The rest of 2023 is even crazier. But a game that came out the same day as Assassin's Creed, Nexus VR, which we'll give our early impressions on, later this episode. But a game that came out the same day as it, I feel very bad in that regard. But Ironstrike, it's a co-op roguelite. It actually seems, it looked really fun. And then we went into it.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it's pretty expansive. It's like all roguelites. We did really good at first, the first couple levels. And then we got whooped. Whooped.
We were playing, and I think it was our second run or whatever. And you were off by yourself on like a hill area. I was fighting some shit down below, and I hear you be like, "Dude, this isn't that bad. We're gonna crush this."
No, we're gonna run out of time. That's what I said.
And then I hear you go, "Oh no, dude, I'm almost dead." like that quick. I'm like, so the level changed from easy to like all of a sudden ultra challenging. But I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
I honestly am not having a bad time with it.
It's made by the same developer as Iron Lights, which was a 1v1 sword fighting game.
Yep.
And Ironstrike is cooperative roguelite or roguelike. I always kind of mix them up. But the way it works is
I don't know what the hell to call them anymore. They're rogues.
Yeah, you have your classes,
Roguels,
that you can they give you 3 different ones to choose from at the start, but we had different 3 to choose from right on our first go. So it seems absolutely random in that regard. But you pick what class you want to be, whether that might be like a paladin with a sword and a shield, maybe a 2-handed sword, maybe a katana. They have a bow and arrow. They have a staff where you like draw the spells. I'm not too big on that, but I will admit, after you draw the spell,
the explosion is nuts.
I'm tempted to use it. I just don't feel confident with my ability to draw that fast.
Because we were pushed for time is the only reason, because you had said it like 3 times. You're like, I'll meat shield it if you want to get that thing.
Yeah, because I'll be the knight with the seal.
And let that thing charge up and then just blow everybody up. So I think we will have to, but there's no guarantee.
You get those 3.
Yeah, exactly. You could play a whole run and never see them.
But every run you're going in fresh. You don't really have like level ups besides, you can buy new skins and stuff like that. And then you can pick your different class for that run. But once you go in the run, there's like these pillars, and you have to make it essentially from pillar to pillar. And then after you make it through enough pillars, it switches the environment, and it's like an even harder level from there. And every time you hit a pillar, a new wave of enemies come. But the whole general playing area is pretty freaking big too. You referenced like I was off on my own. Like it's pretty expansive.
Yeah, it's not tight. You're outdoors. Outdoor fighting.
Good variety of enemies too, just as you have the
so
different.
Far.
And we're still pretty early. Just as you have the different classes to choose from, seems like they have those same different classes of enemies. So
it'll bring out the cockiness and then it'll level set you real quick.
Yeah, and there's interesting gameplay with it with like a focus meter. At first you might be a little turned off by like the swinging is a little wobbly. I don't know how else to explain it.
It's like rubber wrist.
But then you get the hang of it pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, and they do it so you can't just spam attack
the focus meter definitely helps that. But after enough kills or enough pillar clears, you'll get an upgrade spot where then you can pick a perk, and it'll give you 2 different ones to choose from. And of those 2, it might be a health upgrade, a damage upgrade, a focus upgrade, to amplify your focus bar. So you get to pick an upgrade. Or sometimes it also lets you change your class mid-run, which I accidentally picked a class I didn't want to be. I was like, no. And then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, didn't end well.
So there's a lot of replayability into it. We've only done a a couple runs, but I definitely want to do more. It's just been a stacked week. But I'll say it right now, Ironstrike is
How
for
much
co-op,
is it for? Do you know?
You know what? I'll pull it up as we're talking right now because that's only fair.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Because it really is a fun co-op game. You want to hold the mic for a moment?
Yeah. Well, I definitely have. It's just weird.
Dude,
I'm
5.0. Sorry.
I'm just one of those weird guys that
Nope.
for some reason, whenever 4.8.
4.8. It said on the Google store listing. You see that? On Google, it says 5.0, but then you actually click on it, it says 4.8.
Google's Google.
It's $19.99.
Okay.
Very worth it.
That's fair. I was actually hoping the price point was under the $24.99 because I was like, all right, anywhere between $14.99 and $19.99, it's actually really decent.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, when I play games, these rogue games, since I'm not the biggest fan of them, it's like I have to legit play it once and kind of shit on it, and then I enjoy it.
Well, and I also
It's like every single game like this. I think
maybe the only exception to that might be the Light Brigade. That might be the only one that you instantly let. But even that one, you might have been a little skeptical
I hemmed
on.
and hawed a little, and even Dungeons of Eternity. The first time I did, I was like, and then just something clicks. So if like you're not a fan of these games, I mean, take it from me, who's like typically not. It's like I'm enjoying them all, but usually that first round, I'm like, I don't know, and then it just starts clicking, and I'm loving it. Especially when you get used to like the upgrades, and now I want to see all the different weapons that I actually can get, and it is 100% made for co-op.
I was going to say what sells me on the game, really, as fun as it is the fact that we get to play it together. But it's up to 4-person co-op as well. That's huge. So
Discord time.
Yeah, I'm liking this one. So huge props to
For
Ian
Discord
McNeil.
meet, I would show up for that for sure
For a 4-person game, we could even get maybe a couple squads of it, see who can make it the farthest.
because it's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, I'll give the developer a lot of props on that.
Yep.
And then another game that came out in our absence of news.
But not to go back to that, I never would have released it the week of Assassin's Creed,
Let alone the same exact
knowing that the time play people are saying it takes. I mean, like the developer himself saying it. You better count on like 15 hours.
Easy.
So I would have waited a week.
Yeah,
Just for better exposure.
but it came out the same day.
Yeah.
That's ruthless. But it's a great game, though. Great game.
Ballsy. Maybe they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Like that's the way we roll.
No fucks given.
Yep.
It's already got like let me pull up the ratings on it again. It's got 62,
4.8.
4.8 with 62 total ratings and 447 total reviews. So it's not getting ignored either. But another great game that just came out in our absence of news, Demeo Battles from Resolution Games. And we actually did a couple live streams of it. Got whipped by another podcaster, Samson.
Man. First run, I don't give the credit for the win.
Because you didn't buy any cards or monsters.
Yeah, I just hit continue
But then
instead of shuffle the
He
cards.
legit beat us after that. So huge props to
I
him.
do give him the victory on that.
But Demeo Battles is wicked fun as well, and it's $19.99 on the official MetaQuest store. I saw you go into the store listing as well.
Well, I wanted to see what Assassin's Creed had for reviews.
Ooh, we'll get into that
because that's a big variance.
What was it? Just if you just
Couple of thousand
already.
Yeah,
that's impossible to
4.4.
Wow. We'll after our ad break, we'll talk about Assassin's Creed.
I'll talk about one of those douchey 1-star ratings.
Yeah,
Fucker.
we'll
What
go
an
through.
asshole.
We'll go through all of our news quick.
Yeah,
We'll give our Patreon shout out, and then we'll go into Assassin's Creed. But Demeo Battles is great. Continuation of the Demeo series as a standalone title. We'll like I said, we already did some live stream about it. We've talked about it a little bit on our community hangouts, which is a nice thing that we're doing on YouTube as well. But Demeo Battles is a great freaking time. Highly recommend it if you're a fan of the series, especially if you have a good group to play with. Doing 2v2s in this game with people is a blast.
Well, the beef people had prior and even after release was like, I don't know so much after release, but definitely when it was announced that it wasn't going to be just DLC for Demeo.
There's been so much. I'm sorry, I'll let you go.
I totally, once you play it, you'll kind of get, it has to be its own separate thing, just as they grew Demeo from, like, if people remember getting it day one, what you got day one and what you have now is like two totally different freaking worlds. And they're obviously going to do the same thing with Demeo Battles. It's not just like, boom, it's done, enjoy. So it has to be a separate entity. But my only gripe with it, and it really is, honest to God, my only issue at all, is if you didn't play Demeo, you can't go into it with a full understanding of those characters and the cards. So you're really starting from...
Well, at least they give you kind of a single-player campaign, though.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. You can get comfortable.
I didn't think that was going to be in there.
I could see from, like, okay, I've never played Demeo, but I'm going to get battles. If you start playing humans, you're just going to get mollywomped because these people have been playing Demeo. They're very familiar with their special character, which one they like the best. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, it comes already unlocked.
Same
so
with
you don't
mine.
have to earn it.
That helped a lot.
So that would have been probably my only change would have been like, how do you get the person better familiar to get them up to speed from the person who can come in blind, fired up and be like, because we didn't have much of a learning curve struggle. It was just understanding how the arena is going to work and like the borders close in after time. So.
Which they teach you very well with the tutorial. It's actually cool when you go and they ask if you played Demeo before.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, then they skip one part of the tutorial. So we were actually able to skip that part. Maybe they could have actually went pretty in depth in that area. I guess we didn't even see it.
And I'm not even gigging them for it, but I can understand a new player being like, oh man.
Mm-hmm. But they do have a nice single player campaign with like a bunch of different, I guess you could say, like not missions, but scenarios. That's the word I'm looking for.
I think I'm halfway done with it.
Yeah, it's cool. It really catches you up to speed in the game. So if you've never played Demeo before, I would definitely recommend go through that campaign first. And then they do a good job with unlockables where you only start with a couple characters and no skins and very few of the maps. And then for every one of your wins and kind of for your loss, but you only get 1 key for a loss or you get 5 for a win. You take the keys and then you can use them to buy new characters, new dice, new skins, new maps. But you can only get a certain amount until you level up more as your total level.
Yeah, there's 7 pages of unlockables.
But that unlock as you level up as well.
But it'll take a jump. Like you got to be level 9 for one and then like 13 for the next page.
So they did a great job with that.
I'm not going to say how I do it, but I am able to get 5 keys all day, every day with no struggle.
You should say it.
Because I don't want them to nerf it.
It's not nerfing. It's a legit strategy. I mean, it's a legit. That's a feature of the game. I don't think there's anything unintentional.
It's a feature.
I don't think that there's anything that slipped the developers.
So
regard.
go into multiplayer and just play against a CPU player
against the bots
in a private game. No, so you set up the private game like you're going to invite your friend, but don't invite your friend. Just you click one side, put a bot on the other, kick the bot's ass
because they're pretty easy.
You get 5 keys. So you do 3 or 4 of those a day.
Yeah, it's way easier to beat bots than real players.
Full disclosure, yeah, because they don't make human decisions at all.
No,
they make some good ones, but you're not gonna. For the most part, you shouldn't lose. And there's a particular map where you can even make it easier.
One of the maps that start where there's a chest on one side and a chest on both the left and right.
Which is all the maps.
No, not all the maps do. Some of the maps, all the maps have different chest layouts.
And the reason I actually like this map isn't because of the chest; it's because of I play with the archer.
Mm-hmm.
So if I play the bots, I'll play 2 archers,
mm-hmm.
and then I go 1 right, 1 left, and then I put them on each platform. And from the platforms, I can just rain no matter where they go on the map in the center because they're all drawn to the center. I just pick them off one by one. I have like 0 competition on the. So anybody can do that. Use the archer.
Yeah, but it's a whole different element playing.
And you can at least unlock
people. all the people and all the maps. And the maps are because I love playing as the Guardian.
I'm gonna be upset if they take that away.
I don't think it's an accidental thing though. I think that was intentionally put in like that. But Demeo Battles is great. I'm loving it. I think we got to do a Discord night of it soon.
Fun.
A little tournament or something, a duos tournament, but.
Oh, Samson will be there.
Yeah, huge props to Resolution Games. A little birdie told me we might be having an interview with them coming up soon since we're talking to everybody in their...
Who knows?
Everybody and their cousin at this point. So if you have any questions about Demeo Battles for Resolution Games, maybe if you put them in the comments, maybe we can ask them. If by chance, we happen to get them, But Demeo Battles, huge, great work from Resolution Games, and they have another game coming out December 14th. So really just under a month away, another great title. And this one's going to even have mixed reality in it, which even without the mixed reality, just the gameplay of Racket Club looks so much fun.
I'm anxious to try it.
I mean, Resolution Games, they're like fast travel. They're just one of those studios that I have faith in. It's like you tell me that there's a new Resolution Games game coming out, I'm pretty confident it's going to be good. Shell Games,
They make good games, and
Vertigo.
more importantly, they know how to market good games. So they've figured out the algorithm for us humans to digest, to know, because they make a great product, but a lot of people make good products, but they don't market the product strong enough. They've got a good team. They know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, huge props to Resolution Games with a very active end of 2023. And I mentioned Vertigo Games real quick just to give a shout out to them. Man, they're doing a great job getting me hyped for Arizona Sunshine 2. I'm so pumped for it. They're posting more and more trailers, and it's just
some of the creator footage I've seen is pretty nice.
Yeah, full disclosure, we don't have access yet. We haven't played it, but just as a consumer, as a fan of VR, Arizona Sunshine.
Oh, it's a must own.
Yeah, that looks
really
great.
is.
This end of the freaking year is wild.
It's getting stacked, dude. It's a problem.
Speaking of which, too, there was a new Sniper Elite VR announced called Winter Warrior, and it's, dude, you're going to be shooting Nazis in Italy. Sign me up, right?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love shooting Nazis, man?
In Italy.
It's worked since Castle Wolfenstein. And then all the World War II shooters that there was
It
no
doesn't get
shortage
old.
of.
It doesn't get old. You can always shoot Nazis.
Well, and it's cool
in
because
Italy.
you're never going to get canceled for it. So it's like it's always the one entity that's acceptable to.
Well, it's one of the few war conflicts, too, that, like, there's no political controversy if you go, well, no, those guys were technically... It's like, no, those are the good guys. Those are the bad guys.
They were freedom fighters.
It's a very easy...
Oh, yeah.
You
never take lip for killing Hitler.
No. So that's probably why you see it so much. But also as a consumer, I mean, like, the weaponry is typically really cool. The environments are really cool. So I'm excited for it. Sniper Elite VR, their first one. I know it had some criticisms at launch, but this one's looking really polished. Upload VR posted like 3 minutes of exclusive footage, and it looked freaking good. Sign me up. I'm ready.
The sound effects have got me sold.
Yeah.
When they shoot the sniper rifle and you hear it, I love when they do echo effects on that for the real. The only thing it doesn't do is like make your ear ring.
I could almost feel the controller haptics just by watching the video with my imagining. I'm like, I already know how this is gonna.
Dude, haptic feedback vest for this and shit would be.
Yeah, so I'm so excited for the new Sniper Elite coming out, and then also another great existing game, Richie's Plank Experience. They announced that they have a new update, and it's out. We checked it out. A new update that brings their first ever DLC called Canyon's Edge, which you can imagine what that might be. It's edge of a canyon. And then they also added a DLC mode. A mixed reality mode as well. So huge stuff there. The mixed reality mode, it's not like the craziest integration of mixed reality ever. I was actually a little skeptical when I heard it because I was like, well, so much of Richie's Plank Experience is getting immersed and being scared to jump off that edge. Introducing somebody to VR new, is being in your home environment going to take that away? But basically what it does is, for anybody that's played, you load in the game, there's like that immersive environment with an elevator behind you, and then you turn around into the elevator, and then you select which level you want to do. Now, if you make it mixed reality mode, it just puts the elevator in your room, and then you go in the elevator, it shoots you up into an immersive VR environment.
In complete selfishness, and only because I guess I'm a jerk like that, I was trying to think of what they would be doing for the mixed reality, and I was hoping that it was going to be like a giant hole in your floor. And then because your brain knows that your floor doesn't have a hole in it, seeing the hole in it, it would maybe creep out people who are seasoned to...
When I expressed my concern to you about it, that was the first thing you said. Is you're like, well, dude, if it's a hole in the ground, you're gonna freak the frick out.
Especially if you put an actual, because the best way to play this truthfully is to play it walking or real, like 2x4. So just walk across your floor is not cutting it. If you want the old, even for a seasoned VR person, because you'll get that wobble effect. And then once you get the wobble going and the momentum, it's only gonna get freaking worse. So.
But definitely the time to experience this game is when you're brand new to VR.
OMG.
In the days where you're like climbing the tower in Pop 1 and it makes your hands sweat. Yeah, because even as a seasoned VR player, like when you fall off the edge, they do a good job. I mean, the graphics are great. That falling feeling is great. So, and there was a graphical update that came with this mixed reality update as well.
No,
So
it's a fun experience. Fly around in Santa's sleigh too.
the developers, Toast Interactive, they also have Max Mustard, a top-down VR platform in the work, which I love the name.
Yeah.
There's so much
It just
potential
makes me
there.
smile. So it's like, it can't be that serious if the name is Max Mustard.
That has so much IP potential just because of the name Max Mustard. I'm so excited
You
for
got
that
your
one.
Max Mustard merch?
Yeah, so huge props to them. Let's do one more. Let's take an ad break. We'll finish up the news and go into Assassin's Creed. But it's better to take the ad break before we forget. But huge props, though, to Smash Drums. Last month they put out a 1970s DLC, which as soon as I told it to you off air, boom, you bought right away.
I bought it.
And it was a great
I don't
start.
even ask them for DLCs.
I remember a couple. I know, right? We don't reach out for a couple. You just buy that right away the second you hear about it. And
Anywho,
the other month we were saying the only thing they needed was those licensed tracks, and then boom, the 1970s DLC, and it was great start. And now they announced a new 1980s Rock Legends DLC, kind of a continuation, it's a decade later, that has some good ones. Has some Bon Jovi, has another ZZ Top song, just like the 1970s one did, but this is obviously different.
80s.
ZZ, yeah, different ZZ Top, decade later.
Bought it.
Yeah, you bought it in seconds as well.
$5.99.
So, huge
Which
props.
is really cheap, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because Beat Saber DLC is a little more expensive than $5.99.
I'll pull up the whole track list in just a minute, but I'll give them huge props because, again, they're one weak spot. They're quickly rectifying.
Oh, the shortage of but it seems like now this is the direction they're going.
Okay, so they got Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer, Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart, REM, It's the End of the World as We Know It.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane, and ZZ Top, Give Me All Your Lovin'.
Give me all
That's
your
going to be a
love.
fun one. That's going to be a fun one.
Do you know why I don't like that song?
Why?
Because I grew up in the birth of MTV, and when they made the video for that, it's MTV had this shit, dude, back in the day where it's like every 30 minutes, certain songs got played.
Oh,
And
so they just overplayed it?
Oh,
I could see that.
Dude.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was bad. So
Yeah.
it's like they could take a great song and just torment you with it.
Totally understandable.
But that being said, I bought the DLC. I'm anxious to play all the songs.
Here, let's do one more, then we'll take
right.
our ad break. But huge props to Smash Drums.
Keep it up.
The CEO said that they're just hitting their stride now too.
And they're
It's
getting
like,
good. I mean, dude, Motley Crue, that's a good one.
they're not getting.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah, I mean,
And
and
granted, this is an older.
so are we getting a 1990s Rock Legends next? Are we gonna get like Pearl Jam, Nirvana type stuff next? I mean, that seems like the
I don't
inevitable.
know about Nirvana. Who owns the rights to Nirvana?
Probably the same one of three dudes
Yeah.
somewhere on a yacht that own all the other freaking music
All
tracks.
the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they do for 90s. I mean,
it seems like it would be next, right?
the Holy Grail is going to be Metallica for anybody, to be honest
Oh
with you.
yeah, if they could get Metallica on.
I've been
there.
hoping that Unplugged would be able to get, and I don't want to
Yeah.
enter Sandman. It's like, come on, man. It's like,
Give me
like
the
chicken
Unforgiven.
dance at it. Yeah. Give me something.
Yeah. Okay. Nonetheless, though, but not
All right.
one more than an ad break. But another game that we loved, very reminiscent of the last Clockwinder. We're talking about We Are One. They announced that they have a new update with, get this, a level editor.
Yeah.
They unleashed it to the community. Now
And the community has spoken.
I mean, dude, that game was so freaking good. We gave it such a high rating. I mean, it has a high rating on the store as well. It's so fun. It's a time-lapse puzzle game, involving shooting. You got to do actions with one character, save it,
It
and
was
then
wicked unique.
create another character that does actions, and those two characters, or three, or four, or multiple, are all going to have to interact with each other. But your leaderboard placing affects, how fast you can do it. You have to do it with a certain amount of characters created. So great game. I can't wait to go into these community created maps.
I like the voice of the Mother Earth there.
Yeah. That's another game published by Fast Travel
What does
Games.
she call you? Oh man, I keep thinking
Sproutling?
Sprout. Sproutling or something.
Little Sproutling or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, such a great game though.
Yeah.
Highly recommend We Are One. Another great.
I'm
fast
shocked
travel.
they keep pumping into it, but it's cool that they're giving people a reason to come back to it. And I'll tell you right now, level creator, community, postable, other people can. I mean, that's
the
now
next
it's
level.
just it can go on as long as people want to keep making levels.
Yeah. So huge stuff. Huge props to the developers of We Are One for continually updating a great game. I mean, right away when we reviewed it, I remember saying like, "Oh, I wish you could, view people's on their leaderboard like how they did it," and then boom, they added that not long after. Like the developers, they're hard at work.
Yeah, their roadmaps are pretty realistic and they come through. So
nonetheless, we'll take our little ad break. But I know it's been a couple weeks, since our last news. But like before every ad break, we got to give our weekly on-air shout out to our Patreon supporters. And there's been at least one new one since the last time we did a news episode. So definitely cannot miss this. But huge thank you to our Patreon supporters, Mike Morbid, Asim, Jake, Earth Witness, Amelia, Crispy, and Shoes. Thank you all. And we do have some other Patreon members that are on like other tiers as well.
Not everybody wants their shit mentioned on.
If you want to have your name shouted out, but you don't want your name, we'll shout out your dog, your cat, your cousin, favorite toy, whatever. I don't know, whatever.
Bank account number,
Social security number, No, I'm just playing. But huge props to our Patreon supporters, and also huge props to our listeners. Our Patreon, it gets you some cool perks like on-air shout-outs, access to an exclusive channel in our Discord server, as well. You can get your name across the bottom of a rolling ticker on the video. And we also have these Patreon perks available directly through YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want to join our YouTube membership instead, it's all of the same shit, except just through YouTube.
Different place.
Cool. Yeah, different place. Make it easier if you watch on YouTube. You shouldn't have to go to a new website, sign up there, all that stuff. So you can do it directly through YouTube as well. So huge thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you're a listener of the show, it's one of the best ways to support us directly besides, just listening to the podcast. Also, don't forget to go join our Discord server. That's freaking great community. It's been popping. I mean, as always, but seems like a lot of new people joining recently. That's always cool to see.
Yep, and they always get welcomed with open arms.
Man, I'll give the community a lot of props in our Discord for somebody joins and right away people are they're on it. They're always
I like that we
very
have
welcoming.
I'd say a decent amount of devs in there too.
Yeah, a couple journalists, very nice.
And if you are a dev and you do join, make it known, and you do get access to a dev channel.
Yeah, a little title, like your name's gonna be a different color too. As it's cool.
Actually a cool color. It's neon green. Right?
Yeah. I almost, if we could have did it different, maybe I would have picked green or blue for myself. I was like, why did we pick orange? I think because our font on our cover art at that time was orange.
Yeah.
So that's why we went with it.
Hulk Hogan, brother.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan font.
Too funny. So yeah, go join our Discord. Go join our Patreon. If you can't afford the Patreon, that's cool. Keep listening. We appreciate you.
Don't mind.
But chatting in the Discord's free too, so don't be shy. And then we'll be back with you in just a moment after this message from everybody's favorite ball sponsor.
It's not a bird. It's not a plane. It's a ball trimmer sent from space. Our friends over at Manscaped have been working night and day to bring you a below-the-waist grooming experience like none other with the brand new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. We're talking about a next-generation trimmer with interchangeable blade heads for whatever shave your mind can imagine. Upgrade your grooming game to the Ultra Sphere this year by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR. High tech for low places. Manscaped. Every man knows how scary it can get when going for a close shave below the belt. That's why I trust Manscaped for all my sensitive areas. Inside this package, you'll find the star of the show, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Their 5th generation trimmer features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. We also have dual LED spotlights to provide contrast on multiple skin tones, 3 length setting combs, and oh, did I mention the trimmer is waterproof too? No more wet shaving down there. Count me in. Take it on the go. Manscaped has you covered. This puppy comes with a travel case and even a travel lock feature to avoid any accidental powering and weird looks in the airport. This right here is on the cutting edge of cutting pubes. Upgrade your ball trimmer and your life will follow. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. I can promise you've never seen a ball trimmer look like a spaceship. Get yours today from our folks at Manscaped.
And we are back. And, huge news that came out over our little news break. It wasn't exactly last week. I think it was a couple weeks ago, but a new VR headset that's coming out soon. It's in the works from another software developer. We saw this line of progress happen with Big Screen. They started as a software app. Now they have Big Screen, but beyond a VR productivity app, Immersed. A couple months ago, they announced Visor. It's literally like eyeglass VR headset. Doesn't look like it's going to be for gaming. It's designed for VR productivity, but hell,
what does that mean?
That sounds like, well, there are people
Netflix?
that work in VR, but a lot of them
what does that mean?
A lot of them do it with Immersed. Immersed has a very dedicated community. Where they're smart is they built the software for VR working with, being able to pull up multiple screens, very easy typing board.
Can I play Walkabout?
That's the ultimate working.
Right. That's working. Can I play Walkabout while having screens on?
But they already have a dedicated software and community of people that work in VR, and then the software is capable of doing it. And then they announced that they're coming out with a VR headset. Like I said, the Visor is what it's called. But it was going to require a PC. It came in a few different, screen resolution options. And then they announced they're changing things. Now it's going to have a standalone mode, so you don't need a computer, which to me is an absolute game changer. And they got rid of their lower resolution model because they said, I think it was something like 90 or 95% of all the sales of the pre-orders.
High res.
Yeah, that's what people wanted. So now Visor's going to cost $950 for their standalone capable version, which $950, it's pricey. That's a lot cheaper than $3,000 from Apple
for like a naked model that.
And if it can do all this, a lot of the same.
I saw the pictures of it. I've
that
got
looks
a lot
comfortable.
of questions. Well, yeah, it looks like a pair of glass. It looks like old 80s like bodybuilder glasses. They all wore those.
If you asked
but how's that stand? I just don't understand where it's getting
the power
from.
I know. I have so many questions.
Because if they've mastered the art of like over the ear batteries or something, I don't know.
Dude, it takes shit to the whole next level.
Questions.
I got so much questions. I don't get the impression that it's gaming capable, but
Who knows?
let's see. Let's find out. I'm
games always find a way, dude.
Yeah. I would love to get somebody from the company on
Windows
to talk
came
about
with
it.
Remember Windows used to come with Solitaire,
Yeah,
and
Minesweeper.
Yeah, it would come with like 4 games built in, even though it's for business. But they all came with it.
Yeah.
They
But
know
it
how
looks
it is.
sleek. It looks so lightweight. Like
Dude,
you could
even
actually wear it
Solitaire,
for a couple hours.
That's not out of the question realm.
No, that would actually be great with hand tracking.
Dude,
too,
it literally looks like a pair of Visor sunglasses.
But no, this headset looks freaking.
I want to try it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how a standalone is going to be at all powerful and look that thin, because it looks very thin. Like it looks like a pair of freaking.
Yeah, we got to get somebody on to
80s
talk
glasses.
about it.
Yeah,
because I got so many questions. But I think going standalone for $950.
Oh, smart move.
Yeah, because now
Wicked
I'm interested. If PC higher,
Can it be tethered?
I imagine it can, because they say standalone mode.
Okay.
So
I wonder what you're sacrificing by going in this. Yeah, I got too many questions.
so many questions.
But the visual conceptual of what I saw, I'm like,
Great work. I mean, it pushes the
I
industry
just don't
forward.
get it. Yeah,
Look,
anybody that wants to come into the game is more than welcome.
That's what I said about Big Screen. But the reality is, as interested as I am about Big Screen Beyond, which is it looks phenomenal. I've heard nothing but great things. You still do need a PC, VR ready PC. You need some trackers. Doesn't come with controllers, so
There's an investment.
it's step one for Big Screen though. But I'm
But
definitely
again,
interested
with-
in Visor.
With everything having levels, it's
Mhm.
like you need an economy car, you need an electric car, you need a mid-size, you need a full size, and you get a sports car. So each company is going to fill its own.
And kind of continuing on the hardware talk as well. check this. The Quest 2 announced that, well, Meta announced that the Quest 2 for a limited time is going to drop even cheaper to $250. Now, I don't feel comfortable pointing people in the direction of a Quest 2, knowing that there's a Quest 3, but for $250, man, you could get, like, if you're looking to get your kid a headset or something like that,
that's the only,
or your nephew,
exactly.
You want
that
headset for your
10-year-old
wife
to have one. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, like, because $250 is a freaking steal for a Quest 2.
And in some cases, maybe, people's significant others who aren't going to be into it enough to justify getting them a 3, and they don't really give a shit about pass-through mode because the games you're going to play aren't going to be in mixed reality. You're looking for, like, I really wish they'd play Demeo with me or Walkabout. Yeah, I think Walkabout's probably the biggest for any VR user that wants their
significant other to play with them.
The play is like, come on, it's mini. I've been hounding on Tracy. I'm like, you're not gonna get. I've been kind of bullshitting a little too by claiming that Kelly's definitely gonna do it. So I'm like, come on.
And then I'll tell her that Tracy will definitely do it.
Yeah, Tracy will do it if Kelly does it, and Kelly will do it if Tracy does it. Dude, yeah, let's do that. Because they're not going to listen to our show, we know that.
Yeah. But I don't. But I wouldn't feel comfortable like telling one of my friends, like, "Hey, get a Quest 2 for $250 over the Quest 3." But again, if you're looking to get a second headset or a headset for your kids or Christmas coming up, damn, that's a good freaking deal. But I still think the Quest 3 is the way to go for somebody looking for the best VR experience.
Yeah.
Well, the best standalone VR experience.
I mean, if someone has interest in VR, I always ask, like, well, what did you have in mind for spending?
Correct. If it's under 300, I mean, shoo.
And
the
because,
answer.
If they're like, oh, I don't really care, I'll spend up to $3,000. And it's like, I'm going to give you someone else to talk to that owns high-end headsets. But like, for the most part, if people are like, 500 at the most, then I would still tell them the Quest 2. I would go start with the 2. It's only $250. And then if you like it a year from now, get the Quest 3 Lite, So
depends on who
yeah, because I mean,
I don't. Case.
If someone tells you like this is my budget,
yeah,
you can't go, well, spend $250 more.
Correct. I agree on that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you get the honesty of like, this is what I'm really willing to go. Because I know, like,
if somebody told me 500 though, I might tell them still go with 128.
And that's happened where the conversation has been, look, if you can spend 500, how do you feel about spending, 150? I say 150 when it's really like after taxes, it's a little more. But if you can get that mindset to go that extra 150, but I get it. Not everyone wants to spend $700 fucking dollars on a headset when, for the most part, right now today.
Well, the Quest 3 is 500 for a 128 gigabyte. So if somebody had a 500,
but then that's a whole nother conversation that you don't get the 128. I mean, I just don't. But there's games coming down the pipeline, dude, that are gonna suck the shit out of that. And that's a fact. So start making decisions on.
I'm hesitant to point people in the direction of a Quest 2, but again, for a secondary headset or for a child, or if you're like really a casual gamer, you're not really going to care about the extra graphical
you don't have the
improvements,
money.
Or you don't have the money. Yeah. $250 is a steal for a Quest 2.
Don't think I didn't think of getting one just for travel, even though I have a Quest 2.
What? Just because of the price of it being so cheap?
Yeah, I mean,
dude, $250 is a steal.
Shit happens,
Yeah, so huge props to them, and then. Also,
but don't get the 128.
3. on more hardware news, Meta also announced that they're coming to China via Tencent. Tencent's a huge technological.
Well, since they crushed Pico, why not?
Right, Pico had some layoffs the other week too. Their VR division's now a couple dudes working in a closet with their hamsters. But.
And dude, I'll probably go to my grave with this. That had they been able to enter the North American market,
a totally different timeline, totally different universe.
We would not be seeing these layoffs taking. Maybe we'd see a little, but not this momentum. And it's not their fucking fault.
No,
and it's like even
because they're owned by ByteDance.
Well, and that's the thing, man. It's like, and TikTok's all over the news this week, and it's just all negative. And instead of just referring to TikTok as TikTok, they got to throw ByteDance in there. So now you hear that enough, your brain's going to make the connection, and you're never going to trust it as an entity, even though I don't think they do anything anybody else does. But it sucks. It really sucks because the people that we've talked to that have tried Pico are like, it's not freaking bad. You know?
I've heard a lot of people say very positive things about the Pico.
So I'm just
4.
a little sour about it. That they were never able to be given the opportunity.
Because I agree. It sounds like they had pancake lenses before the Quest.
Yeah.
How about that? You know, so,
and they've always been fairly priced.
But in the Quest entry into
unfair.
China with Tencent, a massive technology company in the Asian market, they're working on a more Quest Lite version to launch in that market. With my understanding is not as good of lenses, maybe some other hardware sacrifices
Cheaper,
to get a cheaper model.
Also cheaper to export it when you're just driving it.
And maybe cheaper to manufacture locally, just real cheap and easy.
Yeah, there's no shipping,
there's a lot of different variables of why they're going those routes, but that could be huge. They just, like you said, since they crushed Pico, that's so ruthless. They just went into their home before Pico was able to get in the United States.
A little sour.
But that shows, look, Meta wasn't able to get in
it's
there.
It's not Meta's doing. It's not like they made it happen.
But they also weren't able to get in there themselves. They had a partner with Tencent. And who knows the specifics of that. Maybe in 10 years we see Tencent as one of the biggest VR competitors to Meta.
And you know what, though? In I'm not upset about that, really.
No, they might be going in with that understanding, too.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're going in to their market. It's like you shouldn't be allowed to just, and I'm just saying from their point of view, like, okay, so you're just going to come in here and take over. And what do we get? What is anybody from China getting from this other than the ability to spend the money? No, you use our damn manufacturer. You have to
Meta
be affiliated with somebody from the country. It's like, okay, so at least people who live there get something out of it. So that makes sense.
Well, and that's just how doing business in China
works.
Goes. That's always been the story.
They know
But generally, Meta has to understand, and they definitely know, probably much better than I, that also means that, again, 10 years, Tencent's going to be building their own shit based off of all that technology, too. That's the way the cookie crumbles. But
the ETA Quest.
I'm sure they're going to make bank by entering. That's a huge market, untapped too. It's there's so much potential.
It's starting to gain some momentum.
Sparks. There's sparks of a fire about to erupt there in terms of VR users in China entering the market. I'm so excited to see where that is in 5-10 years. It's an area
that I've become addicted to lately.
In 5 or 10 years, it's going to be massive. It's real curious how things play out. But we'll go into our Assassin's Creed thoughts in just a second. I just want to give kind of an honorable mention section since we had so much to talk about, some things that we didn't go in depth about, but definitely got to give them a shout out. Veil, one of the more popular PC VR shooters at launch, that unfortunately for them, they lost quite the player count as things went on. I'll never forget our first ever interview with Scott Albright, the CEO of Combat Waffle Studios, a studio that if you want to look at how to market a game, how to make a good product, how to do things right, you look at Combat Waffle Studios. They've done a great job in every aspect. And I remember Scott saying, Veil not launching on the Quest was such a huge mistake. Not launching on the Quest at the same time that they launched in beta on PC VR. And now, about a year later, Veil is now on App Lab. So the honorable mention to them for doing what should have been done,
Yeah, could have saved a lot of time.
And then also Islanders VR. It's a city builder game. On the Quest. Definitely cute. Reminds me a little bit of Little Cities. It's
a relaxation game.
Yeah. And they added a really cool looking mixed reality mode, which is just build a little tiny island.
Build an island.
Yeah, build an island in your living room. And then also My Dearest VR. We talked to Alberto Moreno, their head of marketing and their producer of Brazen Blaze the other week. It came out that they just raised $7.8 million in funding to continue their Discronia IP. So that's huge news too.
That's a massive amount.
Yeah, huge props to My Dearest. Honestly, what seems like a really cool studio based off of our talk with Alberto.
Oh yeah.
And then
they're on the to visit list in Japan.
For sure. And then another game, Terra Alia. Definitely not pronouncing that right, but hopefully by the end of playing it I will, because it is a language learning VR fantasy game. They had a trailer that came out and it's coming out on November 30th on the Quest. And it's a VR fantasy RPG game that you're going to learn languages. I think they had English, German, Japanese. They had like Brazilian Portuguese. They had a good amount Russian. They had a good amount of different languages on there. So It looks hard. I'm curious. I definitely got to check it out, but it's coming out right at the end of the month.
Seems like a puzzle game where your answers are going to have to be in different languages, so you're going to have to pay, and they educate you to like
Pronunciation and spelling.
this is what table is in this
Yeah.
language, and then you're going to have to relate that down the road to some sort of. But that's what it appeared like. But I love the concept. It gets people. What's difficult is like not focusing on one specific language is definitely going to be harder than.
Oh my God.
If it's forced, which it appears to be, where it's going to be multiple languages that you're going to have to decipher. So that's a little tougher, especially with.
But if I can walk away from this game knowing how to say hello, how are you, I'm good in all of those languages, oh my God, they did a great job, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're teaching you that though.
Let's see.
I saw teaching you like
paper.
table,
I saw
chair,
paper. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm nervous.
clip.
But I definitely got to check it out. So it's a cool concept, though.
Oh yeah.
So November 30th, stay tuned for that. And then don't forget, next month, Asgard's Wrath 2 comes out. And that's free for all Quest 3 buyers, until I think if you buy it until like January or something like that.
I love how you keep saying free every week. I laugh.
Well, I would have bought
free,
the
free if you spend.
I would have bought the headset for the same exact price if Asgard's Wrath did not come with it.
Totally.
And it's a $60 game that now, I'm not even going to reach out and ask for early access or anything. I'm getting it on launch already.
I'm good.
So I'll enjoy it with all of you, but I'm so excited for Asgard's Wrath.
Yeah, that's going to be a quiet one for a lot of people.
Dude,
60 hours, dude.
Arizona Sunshine 2 coming out.
That one I'm itching for.
Asgard's Wrath 2. And then to wrap up the show, we'll spend, just a little bit because we'll do a full review episode on it as well.
Yeah, don't give too much away.
How about Assassin's Creed Nexus VR from Ubisoft? Published by Ubisoft, made by their subsidiary company, which, if they own
Ubisoft.
It's Ubisoft, but
Yeah.
Red Storm Entertainment.
Ubisoft with a different name.
I want to say right off the top, that game is so freaking good. Maybe the best single player game I've played in VR. Oh my God. I'm not done with it yet. I don't have a final score for it, and I really want to beat it before, putting things in stone. But this is the first AAA studio that's come to VR and
done it good
on the Quest and really delivered, gave it a full fucking effort, and it's good. It is so good.
They answered a lot of questions real quick too.
The voice acting, the character models, some of the levels that you're put into, when you just see the NPCs walking around and interacting and you hear the conversations and just the lighting, oh my God, they did a great job.
Yeah, I'll trying to tread carefully on, because I don't want to give spoilers other than the obvious of like, graphics, gameplay. But there's one part where I even told you, I'm like, it's not a spoiler, but I can't keep my mouth shut. You're kind of overlooking something, and I'm like, I'm counting over 50 NPCs walking around.
It's during kind of their tutorial onboarding, the end of their onboarding mission.
Right before the start credits or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was just that. I'm like, it's not lagging. There's no nothing. So I'm like, if they have half this many in an area, and they freaking do, you go into these different areas, different time periods or memories.
That's how the levels all are memories, but that's very consistent with the original Assassin's Creed.
They didn't step outside the series at all.
No.
And they brought the characters from the series, and they were smart by bringing the characters people want.
They brought my favorite, Ezio. I get to play as Ezio in VR.
I think that's the most popular one.
And they have, so here's my history with Assassin's Creed. I played Assassin's Creed all the way up until Assassin's Creed 3, which was the one where you're Connor, one of the characters that you get to play as. So, I played on flat screen as Ezio and Connor, which then the third character in the game is Cassandra. I never played as Cassandra in the game, but they really went to 2 out of 3 of the characters are OGs of the series. And of those, I definitely think Ezio has the biggest cult following.
Yeah.
And I've gone on the Assassin's Creed subreddit recently just to see what's the non-VR people's, because I go on the Oculus Quest subreddit, everybody's praising it, but these are VR people, they've been hungry for this type of content. What's the Assassin's Creed people think of it? And I mean, the general consensus I've seen is like, this is the return to the series that we've been waiting for, because they went kind of more of an RPG direction for a bit. You
I don't
know,
know. The one I have one and I'm still playing on Xbox. Valhalla, is it the Valhalla one?
yeah.
Yeah. The only time I never liked their series, I think there was a couple where they did like these linear type. It wasn't this open world shit. It was like, it's not really the game that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many of them, dude.
Yeah. And I mean, but the praise of the game is pretty consistent that it's good. I mean, the voice acting is good. How good does it feel to walk up behind somebody and hit and blade them right to the back of the head, you know? Or your favorite. You love to do the
jump down.
Yeah, the leap of faith.
Oh, leap of faith, yeah. Oh, yeah. To me, that was like, I was like,
you went hunting for it.
I knew they were going to have some parkour, which they pulled off. But I was like, the leap of faith is going to be where it's at. So, yeah, the first time I did that, I just giggled.
They do a great job with the haptics when you jump down on someone and you stab them with the head and blade.
That I love doing, dude.
And so you're
just...
And each mission, it's like, so the way it goes is they do a nice onboarding in the game where they do a great job having you pick your settings and stuff like that. And then they do a really bad job of showing you the best of the game right at the start, because there's kind of like these flat screen talking heads. And you're like, oh, this is how the game is going to go. But it's like one of the few times that happens in the game. Most of the game is like 3D.
Well, in hindsight, it is a screen you're looking at.
Well, because you're having a call.
Yeah.
You're doing like
so it's like...
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have opened it with that, though, because, I mean, if you go into the game, you're like, that's how it's going to be. No. From there's like cut scenes that you're almost partaking in. You're just sitting, you're watching it. But it's actual characters with 3D bodies. It's not those flat screen.
Hologramic.
And then just like all Assassin's Creed games, your first couple memories, there's not too much free roam at all. It's pretty linear of like, they're teaching you the game. They teach you how to strike, how to kill, how to do all the parkour, how to grab, how to climb, how to open stuff, everything like that. And then as you progress in the game, it becomes more and more expansive to the point that, by your first mission with Ezio, your first couple, you don't get the most exploration. And then they have you play as Cassandra a bit. And honestly, Greece is a little bit more explorable than the Italy they have you start in. And then you go into Connor in Boston, and it's even more explorable. And then I'm sure as the game develops, I'm still chipping away at it. It's going to become more and more open world. But even now, with the environments that I'm in each memory segment, there's a pretty good amount of space to explore with a whole shit ton of side shit that you could miss so easily.
Well, the thing that's really blowing my mind is everyone that's finished it is like, it starts off good, it gets better, it gets better, it gets better, and it gets even better. And the people who have finished it, I've heard more than one say, I just want to keep playing it.
Yeah.
So obviously there's little side things that you can do
Correct.
as well. So if you want to just get through it one time and then be like, all right,
Now
I'm
we'll
going
go
to go
back to the
back and
missions, 100%.
that's kind of the way I'm doing it. Although this current memory that I'm in,
I think you're Cassandra right now, right?
just finishing Cassandra, yeah. But I really went out of my way to find as much shit as I...
Yeah, you
I
were
can.
asking me, like, as I pick it up, it's instantly saved, right? I don't need to do anything else.
Yeah,
I could tell you were on the prowl for them.
Yep, I want them all. So I hate seeing when you finish a memory and then you look at what you
And you got
achieved
nothing.
and did, and I'm like, what?
I didn't do shit.
Did I not look for anything?
Mhm.
But no, they're doing the franchise justice, in some cases better than some of the previous flat screen versions themselves. And to me, this is how the game probably has always meant to be played.
Correct.
Because of the, the skills you have so as the technology moves, we're probably not going to see the last of Assassin's Creed coming to VR.
And they did a great job with accessibility options, comfort options, really above and beyond.
I think they put a lot of thought,
They-
an unbelievable amount of production value.
They nailed the parkour. I mean, one of my only complaints is that you can't free jump whenever. There is jumping, but it's only like where they let you jump. I do just wish I could just jump.
When you need to.
Yeah, but they let you jump when you
They
need
don't
to.
think you need to just be hop, skip, and jumping on flat ground.
And then I wish I could turn off, when you walk into a wall and you're kind of like out of boundsy a bit,
Yeah.
and then it pulls up the animus grid, which is kind of consistent with the series.
Yeah, it's not going over well to the VR community.
That part I wish I could cut out. Other than that, they give you a whole bunch of settings. If you're somebody that suffers from VR sickness, they did a great job. Performance-wise, I mean, I've gotten a couple frame rate drops, occasional glitch here and there. But for such an expansive game, like, dude, there was even early on playing as Cassandra, I think I dicked around for almost 45 minutes not doing my mission on one of my sessions.
Well, especially in that world, yeah.
Well, dude, and how about, when you mentioned...
it's a bigger environment.
When you mentioned you see all those characters and then the title screen, it's not like that came in the first 5 minutes. I remember finishing that memory and that happening, and I was like, oh, this is a AAA game, because I'm just now hitting the title screen. Like, that was just the opening.
Yeah, dude, I love when games do what you think is the start of the game, and then
it's like, no.
15 minutes later, you realize... Now this is this. I got goosebumps because it is a great opening.
Yeah,
it really, really is.
And Ubisoft saying like there's like 15 to 20 hours of missions,
minimally 15.
But I know people that they're hitting 30 plus hours for the same reason I just said. You're gonna dick around, and then you can revisit the memories. I mean, and you get. It's not like something I actually appreciate. I thought I was gonna have like do all of my Ezio memories. And then it was going to go to the Cassandra.
No, they jump.
They jump. So it's like, because I could see somebody being like, well, I'm never going to play as Ezio again, so now I'm done with it. Or I'm never going to play as Connor again, so I'm done with it. But because it jumps around, you're always going to be excited for the next mission. It keeps it fresh. Each character has different play styles, different special things. If you go into the pause menu, there's upgrades to your character that you unlock them as your character levels up by doing more of the memory segments. And you play as like a hacker working for kind of like 1099 contractor style for Abstergo. So they stay consistent with the series. I mean, they did everything freaking great. I did see a lot of people complaining about the combat because like the way it works is like there's like a slow strike and you can block or parry it and then you do your strikes, or you can just spam strike. And people are like, it's so easy, especially in comparison to other VR combat games. I mean, I beat Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and 3 by spamming the parry button, pretty much pressing X, and your character just did this, ready to parry, and then as soon as the character would strike and I would parry once, I would hit. So I beat the entire game doing 2 buttons for combat. If you ask me, the combat's way freaking harder in this game because in the original Assassin's Creed, you could sit there and just parry. Even if you're circled by like 3 enemies, just first one to strike you, you're going to parry. And you could do those like you could like monkey roll out of the way. In this game, it's easy one-on-one, but I get swarmed by 3 or 4 people. Dude, shit's hard.
Yeah, I've died a few times.
Yeah.
Admittingly.
So the combat's really easy, but it's easy consistent with the series. It's like if you think this is easy, go play Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3 and Brotherhood. You're going to sit there and just
with the
press
controller.
parry.
Totally different game.
Yeah.
And what's weird is I haven't finished every Assassin's Creed game.
I have to finish this one though.
Yeah, I'm not stopping until I do.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up because we'll save our thoughts for.
Yeah, we got more to say.
We'll do a full review of it. But right off the top, performance wise, mostly good. Some rough around the edges, bugs here and there, but graphically is unbelievable.
Week 1 release.
The most amount of NPCs I've ever seen in an area just walking around. The NPCs feel alive. Yeah. They're talking. You can grab them, push them. I grab somebody and I push, you kill 2 civilians back to back, they kick you out and you got to restart like you died because that's just how it works in Assassin's Creed. But I just was walking by a guy and he was on the edge and I just fucking grabbed him by the shoulders and yeeted him off the edge.
I like grabbing ankles and pulling people over.
Yes. Yeah. You can do all the stealth stuff like that. Hide in there, hide in the haystack. So, I just want to give huge props to Ubisoft for coming to VR, a AAA studio, giving it a full effort and frickin' delivering. So we'll wrap this up. So again, I don't hit the point of redundancy when we do review it, but I know you wanted to mention the ratings of it. It's got a 4.4 currently with 1,223 total ratings and 666 written reviews. And like some of those 1 stars is just dumb stuff. I know one of them was like, right when it came out, somebody was like, no, I haven't played it yet. I just want to be the first 1 star.
Fucking 1 star. You know what? I really bitch about meta, but this rating shit is to not have it moderated to not have somebody go through it and go, look, if you post a fucking 1-star and a 25% off code, fuck you. You know, they should just delete your shit.
It's
Never
one
let
thing
you
if it's
rate
a
another game
25
again.
If it's 25% off, but you drop 5-star review, that's one thing.
I'm not talking 5 stars.
But the 1-star review,
1-star reviews with bullshit comments
Get outta
that
here.
have nothing to do with, you know.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm like legitimately
It gets me
making it
so
a cause
angry.
to be like, start moderating your
It gets
damn
me
reviews,
angry.
or let the developers be able to forward these reviews that are blatantly bullshit. But to 1-star a company and say, I haven't played it yet, it's like, you're just a fucking douchebag.
Absolutely.
All day, every day.
And most of their other 1-star reviews
Fucking loser.
is due to an essential part of the load in of every time you play the game. So a lot of their 1-star reviews are saying they can't climb. For 99% of the people, the issue, if you're not able to properly grab something, whether that be on you or the ledges, which they do a great job. If you go to grab and climb, it shows like a white circle there, so you know you can grab. If you can't grab, the majority of the time, the issue is in the load in, they have you do your calibration, where you select if you're seated or standing by pressing A or X. But they also tell you to extend your arms out. It is so important you extend your arms out and do what they say.
It's not so important to know you can't climb everything.
Correct. But there are like, so if you don't calibrate, so you just leave your arms dangling by the side, and then you press the sitting or standing button, and then you go to try to climb in the game, it won't let you. You didn't properly calibrate your player. You need to do what they say.
Yes, and understand not everything is climbable.
Yes, but again, they'll let you know what
Although
is.
corners,
So
any corner is climbable.
that's true. They did a great job.
An edge. Yeah,
Stay tuned
I'm
for a
psyched so
review
far.
soon. Stay tuned for a review soon.
And,
I wish we
stay
had
off the 1-stars.
Yeah, I wish we had even more time to talk about it, but it's a busy recording day. But huge props to Ubisoft, Red Storm Entertainment, giving us on the VR community, on the Quest community, what we've really been hungry for.
Yeah, you've proven it can be done.
This is a full AAA game. This is a legit Assassin's Creed title. Huge props on the
man.
Quest. Oh my God, worth every penny. So, I mean, one of the best games of the year, right at the end of the year.
Well, I don't know
Let's
about
see,
that.
now we got Asgard's Wrath coming,
yeah,
then Arizona
there's
Sunshine
more
too.
shit
But
coming, dude.
damn, this brought it to a new level. So thank you all for listening today, though. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars, join our Patreon. Stay tuned for our gaming showcase in February. If you're a developer, you can apply to that too. Other than that, we do our community hangouts on YouTube. Check out our Discord. And other than that, enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care.
Ciao, ciao.